Hi, good morning. This is Jason Wampler with another episode of Dime Store Psychology. I'm trying to do this every day between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. For about 10 minutes, 10 or 15 minutes. It's an unscripted program. I'm the host. I'm the only one doing anything right now. um, but it's off the cuff, and it's called Dime Store Psychology. I'm 51 years old now. I've been observing human psychology for about 41 years. At 10 years old, I started observing and analyzing people and their their interactivities, social dynamics, and personality makeups. Guys, I don't mean to do this, but let me talk about myself today because I've discovered some interesting things about myself having, engaged in self-diagnostics. I've been looking outward mostly, not talking about myself. As of the last 12 months or 13 months during this COVID-19 outbreak, mental breakdown, hysteria, pandemic, or whatever you want to call it. And I've gone through some discipline, education, and training that have made me, I hope, a better person. Here's what I've determined or figured out by myself. I gotta turn this TV down. I need to take the remote with me. I'm watching a movie right now in my private room. There you go. Turn it down. I'm watching Home Alone 2. Cute movie. I've discovered some interesting things about myself. I've disclosed the fact that I have a double dose of bipolar disorder with controlled symptoms. I've inherited from both my parents, so it's hereditary. I also have what's called mania. My good friend, shout out to Butch Hostetler. If you ever see this video, brother, I love you. I miss you. I hope you're still surfing. I hope you're doing well with your disorders and your medication as well. But anyway, Butch Hostetler, a good friend of mine from about 20 years ago, said, well, almost like 25 years ago, he said, Jason, you have mania, you're manic, but you're always switched on. And I thought about that, and I am. I'm always switched on. I talk a lot. I'm always energetic, looking around, analyzing things, but I'm always positive and high, which is a great thing to have. I am on corrective medication, but if this is part of one of my mental disorders or mental disorder symptoms, I'll take it. I view this as an asset. But on top of all that, a double dose of bipolar disorder with positive mania, guess what else I've discovered about myself? I'm not entirely sure because I have to understand the definitions of a sociopath. And I gotta be honest with you, I'm engaging in dime store and cereal box psychology, and I may be overreaching on this one, but I do believe I may be a candidate, or I may be diagnosed, or I could be diagnosed as a sociopath, which means I have very little regard or no regard for my own life, and if somebody were to cross my path and try to kill me, I would kill them without compunction. And I don't have a whole lot of respect, unfortunately, for human life at this time because of the things I've been in the past. I will talk about that later. I can be angry about things, but I tend to be very firm and resolute in the what do you call it, the problem-solving process. Unfortunately, that includes moving on somebody and neutralizing them physically. And I'm trying to be a morally upright person, so I don't think that's how should I say suggestible conduct for somebody who, like myself, in my position. 51-year-old white men, they shouldn't be going around, getting in people's faces and getting in fights. So I don't want to do that. There are several definitions of a sociopath. You can look it up yourself on other YouTube videos. YouTube is just an endless treasure trove of fascinating subjects. If you want to study irregular or abnormal human psychology, just YouTube, just go on YouTube. They have their own search bar. Look up case studies of irregular or abnormal human psychology. Look up the term video presentations of what a sociopath is versus a psychopath. Abnormal criminal psychology, paranormal psychology, which is, in my opinion, my understanding of paranormal psychology is somebody who's under the influence of some unusual or invisible force, maybe they're in a hypnotic trance. I don't know what to believe at this point, but the term supernatural means it's beyond the realm of human understanding, and that person's under that influence. So the mind is a very powerful thing. As I understand it, 231,000 different individual chemical reactions take place every second in the human brain. And there are more combinations of neuropath and synaptic connections in one human brain than there are molecules that make up the physical universe. I don't know how true that is, but that's mind blowing. Excuse the pun, if that were true. So, talking about myself again, like I said, I have a double dose of bipolar disorder. I have positive mania, and I'm pretty sure I might be a sociopath as well. So, and I've discovered some other things about myself. I have a literary creative side. I have a musical creative side. I have a technical creative side, and I have a directorial or audio visual creative side. So I have 4 different creative sides. I only know one language. I don't care to learn other languages because the rest of my brain is taken up doing other things. I have some type of unusual logic center. I have a really hard time with common sense because most of my brain is just being overloaded with all sorts of other interesting goodies and ideas. I have I have a sense for politics, for religion, which are 2 subjects I won't talk about, government, spirituality, organizing, direction, leadership, etc., etc. I could give a speech off the cuff, and I'd actually enjoy myself doing that. And I have a few things to say. I would have a few things to say about the brand new president. I advise him and Madam Vice President Kamala Harris. I'd love to have an audience with them for at least 10 minutes, possibly even 30, depending on how much information I show out, how fascinating I come across as, and how fast I can talk. Of course, the whole time being understood. So, considering these things, here's the thing, folks. With a mental disorder, you get assessed, you get treated, and you simply do what the doctor tells you to do with the medications, and you work under the close supervision of a doctor, a clinical psychiatrist, a therapist, or a psychologist, and you simply follow their instructions. And you come in every month or every 2 months until your condition is stabilized, and say, okay, well, I only need to see you every 3 to 6 months because you're stable. That's fine. And I'll give you, and my doctor will say he'll give me 6 months worth of prescription medication, which I need, and you'll be fine. So, but it's the process of getting assessed correctly, getting on the right type, amount, and balance of medications that's a real challenge. It took me 25 years. So 25 years of my life was spent with creating insomnia, which is a condition that's brought on by my medication, mania, hysteria. I had a couple panic attacks. I had to be 5150 3 times in a row because I got off a certain type of medication, and I just violently just got right back on it. And you can't do that. It's not like it stops one day and starts the next. When you introduce psychotropic medications or mood-altering medications into your system, your body develops a chemical dependency on these medications. You can't just stop. You have to trail off and replace with someone else. Well, I just abruptly stopped. And you can't just suddenly reintroduce the same medication. Some medications have a very, very violently dangerous reaction, or you'll have a violently dangerous reaction if you're not careful. So everything needs to take place under the close supervision of a psychiatrist, someone with a DEA license to prescribe medication, the right types of medications. And these people are doing everything they can to stabilize your mental disorders and help you attain to a state of mind where you can function in life and be productive and positive. So, and it takes a lot of time. So, folks, you gotta be patient with the process. But here's the thing: a lot of people fall into one of 2 traps. They want to self-medicate, which is basically take a CBD product, which I do not endorse at all, or they want to smoke marijuana, which I don't endorse at all, even if it is legal, or they want to simply drink a little drinky alcohol every night just to soothe the pain. That's called self-medicating. Obviously, doctors would not prescribe alcoholism as an acceptable type of treatment for your mental disorder. So I don't believe in that at all. I'm non-alcoholic. I haven't had a drink since May of 1986 when I discovered I was an alcoholic. So I've been recovered for over 35 years. So that's the first trap you can fall into. The second trap is simply discontinuing the medication because you feel you're doing all right now. Well, the medication fixed me. I feel fine, so I'm going to stop taking the medication. Well, that creates several problems. You crash, and you cannot restart. It's like running a diesel engine out of diesel fuel. The problem with that is even if you put diesel fuel back in the tank of the truck, the truck isn't going to start unless you primer the injection pump and the injectors and the bleed back lines. It's technical, but the point is you have to primer your system. You can't just discontinue a certain type of medication without your doctor's knowledge or consent, your psychiatrist's knowledge or consent. It'll have catastrophic repercussions, and believe me, and you'll be so bad, your mind will shut down, and your mind will actually talk you into not seeing a doctor about it, and you'll pretty much, it'll snowball from there. You'll spiral out of control, and then you go from bad to worse, and you'll be worse off than you were when you first saw a psychiatrist and got assessed and treated on medication. So avoid that second trap as well. I'm speaking from experience, but I'm not a doctor yet. I'm working on my PhD in mechanical engineering. More on that later. So okay, well that's a tidbit. So I gave you a little more information about myself and some information about what to do and what not to do when you have a mental disorder that needs to be assessed and treated and medicated, but through the proper channels, the proper way, under the supervision and direction of a clinical psychiatrist. So we're at the 12-minute mark, so I'm going to say goodbye. This has been another episode of Dinosaur Psychology. My name is Jason Wampler. Don't call me a doctor. I'm not a doctor yet. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and like button because I do want to monetize this site. Thank you very much. You guys have a great day.